Here at 10, we are learning new information about an arrest in a 40-year-old cold case.
After almost half a century, think about that. Time and evidence caught up with a killer today.
For more than 4 decades, her murder has haunted Fort Worth.
Today, we bring you the case of Carla Walker, a cold case that baffled investigators for nearly 50 years. How did a night of celebration turn into a decades-long mystery? On February 16, 1974, a day filled with celebration and joy took a tragic turn. 17-year-old Carla Walker, a popular cheerleader, was preparing for the Valentine's Day dance at her high school in Fort Worth, Texas. Known for her outgoing and spirited personality, her family was excited to see her off with her boyfriend, Rodney McCoy. Rodney, a year older than Carla and the football team's quarterback, made them the perfect high school couple. The evening started wonderfully as they joined friends at the dance, despite it being supervised. The couple managed to sneak a few sips from a flask and smoked a small amount of marijuana. After having fun, they left the dance early to get some food with friends at a local eatery. Eventually, Carla and Rodney sought some alone time and went to a well-known hangout for local teens, a bowling alley. Instead of going inside, they decided to sit in the back of their vehicle in the mostly empty parking lot. They were talking and laughing before they started kissing. Carla, sitting with her back against the car door, didn't notice as a stranger approached. It was common for people to leave their car doors unlocked while inside, and Rodney was no different. The stranger easily opened the door behind Carla, causing her to tumble out. Rodney tried to grab her, but the stranger pulled out a gun and threatened to kill him. Carla screamed, "I'll go with you, just don't shoot him." Rodney then heard the gun fire and panicked, thinking he was being shot. The stranger pointed the gun at Rodney's face and pulled the trigger, but it didn't fire. Realizing the gun wasn't loaded, Rodney tried to react, but the stranger hit him on the head, knocking him unconscious. When Rodney woke up, he was still in the car with a bleeding head injury, but Carla was gone. The last thing he remembered was Carla shouting, "Go get my dad!" Covered in blood, Rodney raced to Carla's house and informed her parents about the incident. Carla's parents, Leighton and Doris, were still awake, playing dominoes in the dining room with relatives. Carla's little brother Jim, who was 12 years old, and her elder sister Cindy, who was 18, were in the living room, watching television. They heard someone banging at the front door and were stunned to see Rodney, blood dripping down his face. He was frantic. "Mr. Walker, they've got her!" he shouted. "They're gonna hurt her bad." Horrified, the Walkers called the police, and Carla's shocked father returned to the bowling alley. Police found a magazine for a .22 caliber Ruger pistol. The search for Carla was extensive, involving police and volunteers who searched by foot, horseback, and helicopter. Rodney gave the police a detailed description of the stranger, a slender Caucasian man, clean-cut with short, wavy hair, wearing a shiny green sleeveless vest and a white cowboy hat. He also mentioned the man had a Texas accent. Initially, Rodney became a suspect due to a lack of leads. 3 days later, Carla's body was discovered in a ditch near Lake Benbrook. The autopsy revealed she had died 24 to 36 hours after being taken, held captive, tortured, and assaulted. She had been injected with morphine, and her death was due to strangulation. As soon as Carla's body was found, tips and suggested suspects flooded the police. They received about 200 calls with possible information. One suspect, Glen Samuel McCurley, lived less than a mile from the bowling alley and was off work the night Carla was taken. His wife was away, leaving him without an alibi. McCurley had bought bullets for a gun matching the magazine found in the parking lot. When asked to show his gun, McCurley claimed it had been stolen around the time Carla was taken and didn't report it due to a past criminal record. Despite suspicions, the police lacked conclusive evidence to link him to the crime. For years, police revisited Carla's case, following leads that didn't result in finding her killer. Investigators were confident they would solve the case eventually, as they had collected DNA evidence from Carla's body and clothing. However, the technology to accurately sequence the DNA didn't exist in the 1970s. In 2019, decades after Carla's murder, her case received renewed interest when a letter related to her death was shared on social media. With increased awareness, the DNA found on Carla's bra was sent to Othram Incorporated. Utilizing advanced technology, Othram created a full DNA profile of a suspect, which was compared in CODIS, Combined DNA Index System, but yielded no results. However, GED Match narrowed the search to 3 brothers with the last name McCurley. On July 7, 2020, investigators collected trash from outside 77-year-old Glen Samuel McCurley's house as he was a primary suspect. Items from his bin were examined, and his DNA was collected. On September 4, 2020, McCurley's DNA matched the DNA on Carla's bra. A few days later, police approached McCurley and his wife. He repeated the same story from years prior, claiming he never knew Carla Walker. He provided a DNA sample, which matched the sample found on Carla. McCurley was arrested and charged with capital murder, held on a $100,000 bail. The details of McCurley's life over the past 4 decades were scrutinized, revealing a troubling past that might have connected him to other crimes. However, the primary focus remained on providing justice for Carla and closure for her family. Jim Walker, Carla's brother, spoke at a news conference saying, "Finally, after 46 years, 5 months, and 3 days, we have a name, a face, and are working toward a complete resolution." Though Jim says they are praying for McCurley's family, he wants to see full justice served in his sister's death. In prison, McCurley's narrative took a dramatic shift. Initially maintaining his innocence, he later claimed he had encountered Carla and Rodney by chance. He alleged that Rodney was attacking Carla and that he intervened, which led to him taking Carla away to calm her down. According to McCurley, she thanked him, and what followed was an unfortunate misunderstanding. "She just gave me a hug. I gave her a kiss. I mistook her for something else. I didn't mean to do it," McCurley stated in an interview. This confession, though full of holes and met with widespread skepticism, added another layer to the complex case.
Outside, I'd parked in the parking lot.
It's just people watching.
I don't know if it was or not. I heard a girl screaming in the car over a couple of cars away from me, and I went over there to see if I could help. And
what'd you see?
there was this big guy. I had her up against the door, jerking her around and this and that kind of stuff. And I opened the car door to help her out. Got her and put her in my car.
When you went to help her out, what did you see was going on inside the car?
I couldn't tell if he was wrestling against her or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And she was screaming and yelling. I put her in my car and got her calmed down. And we talked about some things. I don't know. I asked her why he was beating her up or whatever he was doing. She started hugging me, thanking me. One thing led to another. So I was going to take her home, and she said she didn't want to go home right that minute. We'd driven somewhere, I don't know, parked on a lot somewhere. And I let her out of the car. I don't know too much from there on.
The trial in August 2021 was a pivotal moment. The prosecution presented damning evidence, including the .22 Ruger pistol McCurley had claimed was stolen but was found concealed in his home. Under the weight of overwhelming evidence, McCurley changed his plea to guilty on the 3rd day of the trial, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Even after his conviction, McCurley tried to downplay his role, telling reporter Skip Hollinsworth that he pled guilty simply because he had grown tired of the relentless pursuit by the authorities, saying, "I'd had enough hounding." Investigators continued to believe that McCurley might have been involved in other crimes, particularly the rapes and murders of several young women in the Fort Worth area during the 1970s and 1980s. Despite these suspicions, no additional charges were brought against him. McCurley was imprisoned in the Gibb Lewis unit and was slated to be eligible for parole on March 21, 2029. However, he died in prison on July 15, 2023, closing a dark chapter but leaving unresolved questions about his possible connections to other unsolved cases. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of Texas's oldest mysteries. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more mysterious stories. Until next time, stay curious.